I reflect back on the last 10 years, we've created some really important organisations to help islanders. The Guernsey Employment Trust, for example, helps those with a disability, perhaps unable to find employment, to do so. It takes a state-run service at the time and transforms it into a very efficient organisation. We've funded and helped set up Carers Guernsey to help unpaid carers in the island. And more importantly, we've helped those that perhaps didn't have a voice. We've funded the Guernsey Disability Alliance, Liberate, and a number of other organisations to make a real difference for islanders that might otherwise have not felt their voices were heard well.
So the Guernsey Community Foundation has funded 2 grants for us. Those grants have been really helpful in defining and building the structure of the charity. Even 3 years ago we were much smaller. We've now got 8 members of staff, and so we've grown really rapidly with the funds that the Community Foundation have provided for us, which has meant our breadth of services have grown exponentially. We've trained over 400 people in mental health first aid training. We have been able to develop the number of groups we have, so all of our groups have between 20 and 30 people meeting every week. The numbers of people that we've seen on a one-to-one basis has gone up to 160 over the last 6 months, which is a massive increase for us. But that's our ability to be able to do that and to meet that increase in demand is really to do with the structure that we've been able to put in place because of the grant that we've had from the Community Foundation.
We've had a grant which will give us the wherewithal to put together raised beds for wheelchairs, wheelchair access. We'll have raised beds, over 40 raised beds ourselves for different kinds of produce. And then we've got for spaces for sowing, for propagating, and for production of all the various plants and seeds that we do. With the grants that we're getting, we've been able to do a lot already, and over our 3 to 5 year plan, they're all in motion, and hopefully by the end of our tenure here, we should have done an awful lot. In the various areas of the world that I've worked, I've always tried to manage to get people to be self-sufficient, and you don't buy the fish and give to the person, you give them the net and teach them how to fish. Vegetable produce and flowers and things like this, that sort of is equally the same. You start with a seed and you grow and you grow and you see it blossom, and you say to yourself, wow, we've achieved something, with or without the green fly.
Since the formation of GET, we have maintained a member of the foundation on our board of non-executive directors. This has been really useful because GCF have a good overall understanding of the third sector, and they stay up to date with changes in government and statutory changes, which has enabled us to stay ahead of the game, so to speak. More recently, the foundation have provided an informal network for charity leaders to promote leadership, to support one another, but also for us to stay updated with what's happening in the third sector. This was extremely important during COVID-19, a time that was unprecedented when we were navigating our way through how to sustain our charities, how to adapt our services for the community, but also how to keep our teams motivated at a time of uncertainty.
We're in the prison workshop area, which sits under the regimes function in the prison. It's a very important part of the establishment in that what it does is we do community-based projects within here. It provides prisoners with skills, vocational qualifications and experience, which sets them up really for, hopefully, paid employment and resettlement purposes. The surroundings that we're in just wouldn't be here, without the contribution that we've had.
It sort of goes quicker because it feels like I've got a trade when I'm not in prison, so using the tools and everything, it almost doesn't feel like you're in prison for the time you're in here. It's nice. I've learnt lots of new skills that are different to what I usually do.
And this type of environment for them provides them with what we see as being core skills to enhance their employability. So when they do get released, they go out and they can fully expect to earn a living and start making a contribution.
So the foundation have supported us via a salary, which enables us to do pretty much everything that we have done and everything that we've achieved. If we didn't have somebody, in this case myself, in a role, we're in a professional role where they can dedicate full time to LGBT issues, then it just wouldn't happen, a lot of the stuff that we do. So everything from same-sex marriage, they've had a hand in that, to the wonderful Pride events that we've had. Just being able to have somebody concentrate on working towards inclusivity for the LGBT community. I think like everybody that I've met throughout the third sector has been affected by the foundation, who have had funding from the foundation. That is what they're there for. I like to think that everybody gets a fair shot at being able to put that funding through and apply and make sure Guernsey's a better place at the end of it.
Obviously what we're doing is looking after prem babies and children that are seriously ill and trying to keep families together in those really difficult times. With the 2 flats we have in the UK, it's all about keeping families together and keeping them strong.
We were lucky enough about a year ago to get a grant for the charity. So the grant's been hugely needed because we need to be able to run the charity to actually go out there and find money.
What the foundation has done is actually helped us have a properly organised back office now that's very structured and not just relying on volunteers, who are brilliant and we still require them, but to actually have some security and backup admin service for the office and for the charity in general, to keep it doing what it's set out to do.
Bright Beginnings have had some grants from the foundation. Originally we had some money to fund our deputy manager, Amy.
I enjoy working with all of the families within the community. I enjoy watching people grow as parents and their children grow alongside them. Being privileged to be part of people's journey, you can't really put into words. It's valuable and it's lovely, and to be able to come to work every day and witness that doesn't feel like you're coming to do a job.
We consider ourselves to be just a part of the jigsaw, particularly in the early years of 1001 Days agenda. And I think without the services of third sector, I think, but it can't all be down to the states to provide the services. So I think we play a very important part, as do other charities.
Receiving support from places like the Guernsey Community Foundation enables us to stay well-footed in the community as a charity, and then being a charity that is open for everybody in the community helps us provide invaluable support, open to all parents.
So we were set up with a really broad remit of doing anything to make carers' lives better.
Having started from scratch, we now can build a business plan, show how we are positioned, what our strengths are, what we have achieved in the first 3 years, and then go forward, if you like, to seek funding from all different sources. But it's a very useful and very important part of our third sector.
And I also really benefit from having the sort of peer support and the things that the foundation do to help managers and executives in charities. They're just a go-to place if you need help with your governance or growth or whatever projects you have in mind, and they're a very good connector to put you in touch with people who can support and help you.
I've been involved with the school for 10 years before it was built and for the 15 years afterwards. And when you see the fabulous job that our teachers do and how the children progress, develop and become, productive young individuals, keen and eager to learn, there's no better thing to see. 2 years ago, we had to raise £150,000 to refurbish and re-equip the 4 sensory rooms. And one of the first organisations that I approached for guidance and help was the Guernsey Community Foundation. And they have been an enormous support to us and been with us every step of the way. I think that the Guernsey Community Foundation has done an enormous and fantastic job over the last 10 years. The third sector is a vibrant, vital part of our community, and I think that's been supported, helped and guided along the way over the last 10 years by the Community Foundation. We in the school would want to thank them very much for the help and support they've given us and continue to give us as we move on with developing new facilities here at the school.
I think the next few years in particular are really exciting. As we said, the foundation's come a long way, but we've helped influence a number of changes. The launch of the Social Investment Fund potentially makes a very big difference to the voluntary sector, ensuring that the associations of Guernsey Charities has a clear role as leading and being the voice of charities, means that the foundation can continue to be an honest broker, bringing together businesses, individuals, organisations, government, finding those areas where working together we can achieve better outcomes. The next few years, I think, will be a great opportunity in particular.